Welcome everybody to this PayTrace webinar. My name is Sam Johnson. I am the Partner Success Manager here at PayTrace, and I am thrilled to be joined by my colleague, Adam Kostopoulos from NewGen Business Solutions. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks so much for having me, Sam.
Super excited to have you here. It's always good to see a familiar face on these things. If you aren't familiar with PayTrace webinars, you're your new PayTrace customer, PayTrace partner, or a NewGen partner. We'll give you some housekeeping just to know what to expect on today's presentation. PayTrace webinars are typically going to be about 30 to 45 minutes, and really the intention of these is to give you some really great insight into some of the great tools and solutions that are out there, some best practices, and really how we can make you more successful. So on today's webinar, to cover the agenda, we are excited to welcome our really great partner, NewGen Business Solutions, today. They've got some really great tools that integrate with PayTrace's platform. And with that, we're going to focus on some Oracle NetSuite solutions. So really some cool things here to talk about and even show you. Adam's going to take over and show you a demo here on the product in a little bit so you can see exactly how this works within NetSuite. But most importantly, we want to be able to answer any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts that you all have. So as we navigate through today's presentation, if you do have any of those questions, you are muted, so you can't interact with us audibly, but there is a Q&A box that's on your Zoom window. Please open that up. Send in your questions, your thoughts, your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. We'll shell out a few minutes at the end of today's call to tackle some of those and get you on your way. If you are watching the recording of this, we will also provide you some contact information in both the description and at the very end of today's presentation so you can follow up with our teams. So with that said, Adam, I'm going to turn control over to you, man. If you want to introduce maybe yourself and
Sure.
tell us a little bit about NewGen.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, yeah, thanks again for having us. Thanks for allowing us to partner in our great partnership, and thanks to everybody here, perhaps both merchants and also NetSuite or PayTrace rather partners and resellers. But appreciate everybody taking the time to spend some time with us here. Now let me do the whole thing where I try to figure out how to share my screen. You think I
We
do
practice
enough?
this.
Yeah, right. There we go. You see this, right? Okay, so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about kind of myself and us. I know a lot of people probably want to talk solution and how we can kind of help in the NetSuite space with processing with our PayGen product, which is powered by the PayTrace gateway. But real quick, my name's Adam. I'm a sales engineer with NewGen. I've been with the group for about 5 or 6 years, working with our sales teams, our product teams, and kind of this anchor point in our business in terms of NetSuite solutioning with both customers and prospects. So we've had our payments integration here, PayGen, for about 4 or so years. And it's really been built with the assistance, Sam, of course, you and your great team at PayTrace, but also a lot of our customers. It's evolved a lot over the years, taken on new features. And at this point, and this is always something that, we look to prove in the market, but we like to think that we're one of the strongest, if not the strongest, kind of full-featured turnkey AR automation payments app out there, I suppose. So, and I'll give you a bit of a preview of that, some of the bells and some of the whistles, but that's me. NewGen, we've been around for about 30 years. We've done a lot of ERPs over the years, all the way back in the ACPAC, Fox Pro, older versions of, then now acquired Microsoft products, but lots of ERP over the years, before my time too. I'm reading the bio I've been given, I guess, but the last 15 or so years, extremely focused on NetSuite. So we were an early adopter, an early partner. It's been great, ever since, and we kind of grown our business alongside it. But we've got 4 offices around the country, about 30 folks, and we're NetSuite people. So, we sell suite apps and distribute suite apps. PayGen, of course, one of them. We resell NetSuite ourselves. We consult on it. We have accounting people. Myself, I'm a CPA. I try to hide it, so I don't have to do some of that stuff sometimes, but we've got folks on board that know the debits and credits. So we like to think that we can service the full gamut of our NetSuite customers. And We're an SDN partner, a development partner, and got there too. This is part of some success driven by PayGen, actually. But we were lucky enough to be awarded a Partner of the Year award at the previous year's Suite World. So that's NewGen. Keying through a few of these. So talking about PayGen. Sometimes I'll give this and people aren't quite necessarily familiar with NetSuite. I have a feeling a lot of people are, so I won't talk too much about that. But of course, we all know NetSuite, leading cloud-based ERP. PayGen is built for NetSuite. It's an AR automation solution is usually what we try to call it. And we kind of call it that because for us, hitting the processing gateway with a credit card charge, with an ACH charge, so we have support for that as well. We'll see some of that. That's kind of the table stakes. That's what we need to do. That is our job for charging, refunding, voiding, all of that in the NetSuite environment and having that reflect real time in the gateway. Our focus as NetSuite people, as consultants, as people know the debits and credits that are working with the CFOs, the controllers, the accounting managers all day in NetSuite, ARAP, general ledger processes. What we want to do is provide value. We want to provide automation. That's why people have adopted NetSuite. So, we've got features and functions that assist with these elements of folks' businesses. So I'll talk a little bit about those as well. Payment links, payment portals, card present, convenience fee automation, auto pay tools. So, again, kind of our role as a NetSuite integrator, it's incumbent on us, or we believe it is our responsibility to provide, these great NetSuite ready tools that really support the function, I suppose, of charging a card in the NetSuite environment. That's not enough, if that makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, Adam, a lot of the folks that are on here have been PayTrace partners for a long time, and you were throwing out a lot of the terms that I think most of us are pretty familiar with if they've been using PayTrace for a while, right? What I love about this product is that you're essentially solutioning a lot of the PayTrace features and functionality and applying that into Oracle NetSuite, right? Native application. So it's usable in a way that NetSuite users can just log in and take advantage of all these great payment tools without having to navigate out into another program, another process, right? It's all essentially just making them more efficient within their native ERP.
100%, 100%. The virtual terminal is always there. Everything in PayTrace is always there, but at least giving folks one other area where they can trigger a lot of these things, which for the NetSuite user, they invested in that as the heart of their business for a reason. So enabling even more of that is a win-win across the board. So perfect. And then in terms of our ideal customer is really anybody. The ideal customer of NetSuite. There's stronger verticals than some, of course. A lot of your wholesale distributors, manufacturing folks, services business, advertising agencies, retail. But really anyone that uses NetSuite is a good fit for us if they need payments. Not only credit card, but this has become even more true as we've adopted ACH, specifically through your team's product directly, Trace ACH. So, you have a lot of groups that credit cards were great to integrate into NetSuite, but kind of that additional addition, especially in B2B, of having that ACH capability right there, easy to consume, has kind of made this even truer of a statement. So, how we add value, and I'll just have a few more things, and then we can take a little look at a demo. How we add value for us, this is all quite quick. And at this point, we're approaching about 150 independent NetSuite users of our integration. It's a relatively young product, about 3 or so years compared to some of the other payments connectors out there in NetSuite that have sort of been around for day one. So we're pretty proud of that number and still growing. But with that said, with that install base, what our goal is to make this easy, to make this turnkey. So in terms of discovery and solution demoing, if folks wanted to take a look, if we do it all in about 30 minutes or so. Again, our team, this is our goal. This is what we think our responsibility and sort of the shared effort to solve business problems is we're the NetSuite experts. So, bringing together the understanding of NetSuite, of ERP, of accounting, and how payments processing needs to fit into that. That's what our customers are interested in. And again, we've had, and certainly not a requirement, but we've had a fair amount of people, which is great. And again, a win-win for everybody that like the experience of our PayGen product and sort of boarding on that, you know, they use us for other NetSuite support needs because we do all of that stuff top to bottom. So, you know, one thing I'll mention here too, some quick bits and pieces about the features. I already talked about a few of these. You know, the gateway PayTrace itself, of course, one big thing it does for people, especially in the B2B space, is that interchange optimization at level 2, level 3. Now, PayTrace does that kind of for us. So again, I definitely sound like a broken record on this at this point, but for us, NewGen, PayGen, it's incumbent on us to add the value in sort of the NetSuite business process flow. So, you know, a smattering of our features, we'll take a look at some of them, but built for NetSuite installs in minutes. Customer links, customer portals. The customer portal specifically build up the NetSuite accounting statement. And a lot of people kind of call it their portal essentially, but I can go in there and pay multiple invoices and take credit memos, run cards, ACH. You got that ACH support, you got that card present support, you know, for maybe those lower volume will call desks. We get a lot of that, or just sort of, you don't want to be busy like a grocery store, I guess. That might be a little bit much, but you're using NetSuite as kind of like a, you know, free point of sale type system if you don't need something super robust. And we've got a card dipper that is the turnkey USB ready. It works very, very nice and has saved people quite a bit in terms of integration costs. You don't have any integration because it's all talking to NetSuite. You know, no need to do a separate point of sale or anything like that if it's not appropriate. And then this is our newest feature, auto pay. So it's an intelligent auto pay engine, and we have a fair amount of folks. It's a lot of your software companies with monthly invoices. We've got some utility providers. You know, when I've got essentially this cadence of creating lots of invoices on routine basis in my NetSuite account, we have a feature in the system. It doesn't quite care where the invoices come from, just that they're there. But they can essentially, there's a tool that can go grab them, and for a essentially auto pay credit card, auto pay ACH that's set on that customer's account, that's just set it and forget it. You can check up to every single night if you'd like, see if those invoices exist there, and pay those. So you know, for the NetSuite user, that makes plenty of sense. But what the reflection is, or what our users are able to offer their customers, are auto pay functions, like when you and I go and, you know, for our Verizon bill or our water bill, you know, electing for that auto pay, essentially putting and authorizing my details, and, you know, the provider, in this case, the NetSuite user using PayGen, being able to set up that auto pay cadence. And you know, you ask a NetSuite user and they might think, oh, well, I would think that NetSuite would provide that out of the box. It seems so obvious, but they certainly do not. And, you know, us delivering that as part of this holistic AR automation package is something we're proud of. So,
Adam, if I might just hop in there, you know, you mentioned it earlier. We've been partners for a long time. You've had this kind of the PayGen solution now for years. Just kind of the evolution of it, you know, we still have some past webinars up on our YouTube channel that you can
they
check
cannot
out
be hidden. Yes,
and kind of
they're
see
out
the
there.
evolution of this real time. But I remember, right, that kind of the initial sales cycle for this was we would schedule the consultation call. We'd have to learn kind of the ins and outs of the business, how they're using NetSuite, and that was almost kind of like this. You know, it was a process. It took some time, but it's pretty amazing. And I know you have a case study here in a moment, but how quickly that installation and setup process is. Like, you guys have got that down to a T. Um, in fact, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but in a lot of cases, you could pretty much get them up and running same day. Am I overstepping?
No, that is accurate. And yeah, it has evolved in these types of scenarios too. It needs to evolve quite quickly. So maybe it was like the first dozen or so where you're sort of ironing those pieces out. But, you know, for us, we saw an opportunity to make this easy. And, you know, I would argue almost selfishly, that's the way we wanted it to be, if only to maybe help ourselves. Obviously, customers love it, perhaps more. But we do NetSuite implementations ourselves. So we convert people from the QuickBooks to Sages to NetSuite.
Mm.
And, folks on this call that are NetSuite merchants, they know that that's not ERP conversion's never fun. You know, sometimes it's easier than in other situations. There's some people kind of roll the dice differently or what have you. Plenty of people on this call no doubt have their stories or nightmares or something. But for us, we deal with that, right? It's difficult. And this, we had a really great opportunity to make it easy for us and for our customers. So yeah, I mean, if somebody really wants to get going as quickly as same day, you know, if they can get a couple folks on the call to sit through the 45-minute training, they can be going same day
Yeah.
and off to the races using all these tools.
It's amazing. I'm not by nature, I'm not an ERP guy. I'm a payments nerd. I'm not NetSuite people, but so I remember getting into the ERP payment space. It's like, man, this is a little daunting. ERPs are kind of technical and they're scary. And um, what I really like about partnering with NewGen is that you said this phrase earlier, we're NetSuite people. Um, and it truly is. Like I love that I don't need to go in and know all the nuts and bolts. Like I can stay in my lane, right? PayTrace, we know all of the PayTrace ins and outs. But having a great partner like you guys who are NetSuite first, right? You've only been in payments for a few years, but you've gotten
Mhm.
into NetSuite for decades, is really awesome to have a partner like that because you understand from the user's perspective how they're actually using the application, so you can go in there and really advise and consult with them, and make them more efficient as a result.
100%. I'll tell people, you know, sometimes feel bad. I feel lucky that I'm in NetSuite all day, every day. Have been for like a decade at this point, but like working with some other partners or bank partners and you guys too, you know, you might be looking at NetSuite today and Microsoft tomorrow, like a Shopify front end, you know, another day. So, and we of course get that, of course, in integration situations, but you know, the bread and butter is NetSuite. And yeah, there's a lot of depth to it, both deep and sort of wide, but um you know, we haven't run out of things to consider at this point. So it's where we're at all day, every day. So cool, cool. The only other thing I'll mention, and you know, I don't know if we'd ever have any returning folks from when we've done these in the past. One additional thing we have here too is, and this is maybe for any NetSuite folks that are on the call, PayGen now supports as well an additional product we have called PortalGen. And PortalGen's a B2B portals product, also by NewGen. Big thing with B2B payments, of course. A lot of cases like sales order creation, reordering without having to key everything in again, opening support cases, resolving those, attaching files. And then, of course, the big thing is looking at open invoices, making deposits, making payments. Extremely for us, an extremely natural fit for PayGen. So PayGen, PortalGen, lots of gens, confusing. It's like Suite with NetSuite, everything. Names are confusing, but the products aren't. They're turnkey. This one is just like PayGen, but another feature we have that supports or is supported by our payments product. And we have a fair amount of people and growing that are running both of these in tangent. This one doesn't require PayGen necessarily, but they do work together. They're built for each other.
I feel like we need like a gen's definition slide, right? Each
Yeah, yeah, like a
company.
glossary. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to get with marketing. So put them on it.
So New Gen's the company, right? PayGen is the actual payment product within NetSuite, and PortalGen is this new kind of portal application that you can use with the payment product.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Love it.
Cool. Well, then you mentioned a little bit about the case study. Then I got a couple here really quick, and then we'll get into kind of clicking around some NetSuite screens and looking at the best bells and whistles we've got on store. But you know, at this point, again, about 150 or so active installs. Again, it's a point that we're very proud of and know will continue to grow. But a couple stories here. One more on kind of the dollars, because two ways to think about this. And what's great is our customers usually win in both ways. And again, that's our goal. Savings on the dollars, you know, cost of acceptance for payment instruments, ACH, credit cards. And then my other case study is more about time saved, which is, of course, what everybody wants out of a NetSuite investment. So this one here, this is a group we worked with. I didn't check with these guys, so I anonymized them, but they are a major taxidermist in, I believe they're all around the Midwest is kind of where their spots are. But they swapped over to the combination of PayGen and PayTrace. And for them, the big thing was cost savings, an incredible amount of spend, so much of it on B2B. and B2B cards, and had no knowledge of level 2, level 3 of interchange optimization, the best PayTrace story. And by extension, one of the best for PayGen, of course. But with that optimization, they were able to save for their volume over 75,000 a year in merchant fees. So for them, all the features, the functions, maybe secondary compared to that, but still they're getting both. But this was a great one for us. We actually partner with a pretty large national bank as well. And we actually got a good word from the VP over there as well that, they see lots of ERP systems, the Microsoft, the Sages, all these connectors, all these groups. And this meant a lot to us as ERP people. She said, hey, such a great job on this account. I mean, we had to go in essentially the next day. She already had all the merchant accounts and everything. But this is one of the best, most seamless experiences I've had with my sort of ERP connector to processing over my career. So things like that tell us we're on the right track. So that was a great one. And then this one too, we also really like because we were able to rip and replace an existing solution. So for these, we usually will do a fair amount of brand new NetSuite installs. I'm new to NetSuite, or they're using like a CyberSource or Merchant or something like that, and find solutions. But we do replace them a lot. We actually designed our solution to for the parts that matter. They're quite similar, and we use all the standard NetSuite fields, and so do the other solutions, which is a great idea when you're building NetSuite solutions to sort of play by NetSuite's rules the best you can, because that gives you much more stability, and you play with other things nicely when you use the sort of standard NetSuite credit card fields and that type of thing in this case. But what's great about that is it's easy for them to make the change. They don't necessarily need to go through this whole training. They don't have, the folks that are taking the cards, the control of the owner, whoever made the decision to rip and replace the payment solution with PayGen. They don't need to sort of retrain their collections folks, and they get kind of upset that things change. You don't have those types of things. We use the same fields, which is always a little nice side benefit. But anyway, they save money. And we got them going. I put their 15 minutes. It looks nice. I mean, it's installing a bundle, so that is technically true. But the idea is the bundle installs, in 15 minutes. It's just a sweet app like all others. And then configuration training, probably 45 minutes to an hour. But this was an example of one of the groups that sort of said, we want to get going as fast as possible. And if people tell us that, again, same day, next day, whatever sort of makes sense for them. And then they're also using all of our features. So in terms of saving, hours of time, payment links, payment portals, they use the card present solution as well. So they're a floral group, and essentially NetSuite's like a point of sale at that point, and they can dip actual cards. Helps, of course, card present helps with fighting any sort of fraud cases or those types of things. So yeah, that said, let's dive in a bit here and take a bit of a look. Flip over to NetSuite. So thumbs up, Sam, you see it all right? All right, cool. So I got a bunch of stuff here prepped out, so we can kind of shoot through some of this stuff quickly. Again, PayGen built for NetSuite installs very, very quickly. And I'm going to kind of start with the highlights. Sometimes I'll save these for the end, but in case anyone has to drop. We're on here on the client customer master. Again, one thing with PayGen that our customers do appreciate is, again, we're NetSuite people. So, having this conversation, we want you to be successful. We don't want to just sort of dump it on you and say, hey, here's the user guide, good luck. We do a white glove install. We do try to go that extra mile in terms of, when this payment comes in, email a receipt, or when a pay now link is used, use a save search to email alert to somebody. So we do these sort of extra NetSuite things that are sometimes unique to all customers, because again, it's our goal to enable enable the merchant to like this, to want to keep it around for years to come. So that is something we do as part of our install. So in my financial tab, I have a couple of links here. Now, these are unique links on every single customer in your customer master if you're using PayGen. We have multiple merchant ID support. I've got different merchant IDs for my different business units or subsidiaries in NetSuite. Again, we do convenience fee. We have all sorts of rules for saving and tokenizing cards. Some people do or don't want to do them based on corporate policy. It's all PCI compliant, of course. But these two links here are some people's favorites. The quick bill link here, I'll show you some different payment links we have. The payment links, there's one on the sales order, it takes a customer deposit. There's one on the invoice, of course, takes a customer payment. And then everybody's favorite is our statement pay now, which lets people pay multiple invoices, take credit memos, all that kind of thing. Those all charge cards in real time. This one's a little bit different. This is like your electronic credit card authorization form. So just about everybody we talk to, because they don't know how else to do it, it's fair. There's not a lot of good ways to do it. They have a paper credit card auth form, which is of course a violation of PCI. You can't write that, raw card information on there and email it or text it or whatever. This keeps you from having to do that. You're totally compliant. You email this link to the customer. You can do that however you want in NetSuite. We do give you a nice button here. This is tied to an email template, so I can shoot this out to somebody. But it's just NetSuite, so you can take this link and put it in a workflow or a script, or we can help you with something. It's AR automation. It's a toolkit. This whole thing is what we like to call it, because we've designed it to be flexible in the right NetSuite ways to fit with people's processes. We've used NetSuite a long time. We know that's extremely important to people. Everyone's a bit different. But either way, I fill this out as your customer. You never see the details. It checks, make sure my card's good, or my ACH details, and saves those. The credit cards go to the standard credit card list that some folks may be aware of on the call. And then ACHs, we've got an ACH list here, so that way you can then reuse them in the system. So we call it quick bill. It's like a credit card authorization form. Now this one here, oops, I actually already have it open. This is our statement pay now. This is, kind of the crowning feature. We'll save the best for last on our demos usually, but this is like an electronic version of your NetSuite accounting statement. We don't do any of the math on any of the numbers you wouldn't want us to, but I load this up as your customer, and essentially I'm seeing my account with you guys in real time. So we have actually used this sometimes to replace people's homegrown portals or NetSuite My Account or Shopify B2B. They've got these heavy things because they were trying to do something like this, and then they got the integrations and the extra costs. Countless times we've ripped and replaced this, because really all they wanted to feed somebody their invoices and let them pay them, which is a pretty normal want if you've got a quite pricey system like NetSuite, I guess. But pay for one, pay for many, pay partials. This one's kind of nuts. I got a lot of stuff here, but you can see for the NetSuite folks especially, they know the unapplied payments. It's like letting the customer have access to their accept payment stream, except they're driving it. It's self-service. Take those credit memos too. And then you got all your credit card and ACH stuff at the bottom as well. Now, these all support convenience fee as well. That's become increasingly popular with people. I don't have it turned on, but that is worth noting. And one other thing, this is really what takes us to be a customer portal type of thing, and why it can be pretty impactful. Again, payments aside, payments are just expected from an AR automation, collections, customer service kind of standpoint thing. I can reprint my invoices as your customer using this. So again, taking this to be more of a true customer portal. So that's the statement pay now. I'll show you a couple more things here. People always like the payment links. It is worth noting maybe to just do some quick highlights. I've already got an order in here. It's keyed in. When I come to my customer deposit, customer payment, sales order authorization, cash sale, which is a little rare in the NetSuite environment. But, should people be using other payments integrations with NetSuite, they're going to find that the fields are really exactly the same when you're doing cards in the back end of NetSuite. When I'm in these types of screens, if it's a brand new card, pick my card type, enter my card information here. There's your physical card reader. If you have a card present environment, do those on customer deposits, customer payments, and cash sales. That's really about the extent of where you could have it anyway. So we really got all those bits covered. But then your system too, if you're tokenizing those cards, maybe these are cards your customer added with the authorization form. B2B customer, you boarded them, your sales team's boarded them. Hey, welcome. Looking forward to working with you guys as part of our onboarding process as a new customer. We need you to sign these docs, and we need you to fill out our auth form. We need a valid card on file. So now I've got a tool with PayGen as part of that boarding process or whenever you need it. It doesn't matter. But those cards can get on file. You can reuse them and run the cards on the back end here. So I'll run one here real quick. So this is $500. We'll save. I've had this open for a while, but I think it should still be okay. So this is where we're calling the gateway to see if it's any good. And I think there's folks on the call that use PayTrace or certainly use other gateways. Are probably used to these things, but your gateway, if you have any issues with it, fraud alert, insufficient funds, those error codes, determined by the gateway, we'll bring them back to NetSuite. You know, Sam mentioned earlier, of course, all those great tools at paytrace.com, virtual terminal, all those types of things. You got those too, but we don't want to have to send you in there for using something like this. You've got that as your backup, obviously. But any errors, any successes we bring through to NetSuite. So there's that banner, charged it successfully. And then especially for NetSuite people, you know that writing the data back to NetSuite the right way so I can use that for save searches and alerts and workflows and printouts. We write all that down. And this is a big differentiator we like to think. I think our customers would agree. I mentioned that white glove install. For us, it's so easy to add, the last 4 digits of the credit card to the receipt in NetSuite or something. We have kind of pre-formatted code. We just dump it in for people and change the colors of the alignment, make sure people are happy with it. We do these types of things as part of boarding. Again, we call it our white glove install. And we do think that it's another way that we set ourselves apart from some other solutions out there. And we recognize it's easy for us as NetSuite people, but for a customer that, NetSuite just helps them run their business. They're not a NetSuite consultant like us. It could be very difficult for them to do something that, takes 15 seconds for us to do at times. So we make sure those things are taken care of. Now we're also cognizant that we're not here to, help you realize why your books aren't balanced or something like that. We're not your accountant unless you want that type of arrangement. But our customers have been very fair to us. It's sort of like a Scouts honor thing. Like, I'm not here to do everything NetSuite, but I want to help with my part, which is payments automation, which is AR automation. So I got one more for you all. So invoice. This is the one that people for sure want. Now, this is the one that other solutions out there have, but this is where they start and they stop, is the invoice pay now, the most simple one. Of course, we have it too, but our deposit pay now, which takes a deposit on the sales order, and our statement pay now, we think those are for sure differentiators. But another thing we'll do, again, as part of that setup with the pay now links, usually people want like a button on their invoice here, pay now. And when I click this, here's a look at this is the invoice pay now. So fill this guy out. See how fast and accurately I can type in front of a crowd. These are mobile friendly too. So we made sure of that. I think everyone's on the go. I'm waiting in the line at the post office or something. Your invoice comes through as your customer. Pull it up, click the pay now button on my printed invoice, pulls me into Safari on my iPhone or something. And like you saw here, my cards are already saved. So hopefully quite easy to get you paid. So this is my test credit card, should work fine. Unless PayTrace wants to fall down right here, but that would be on them, not on me. So
it's not happening. Our demo accounts are,
so far so good, right?
Solid.
So, nice. Yeah, no, I'm definitely kidding. So, but if there's an issue with this, we'll give your customer the error. So it's like, again, if they were checking out on, Amazon, it's not Amazon's fault if the card's not good. It's something that they need to resolve. So send them back until they get it. I don't imagine people have too many problems, especially these days. And what was open is now paid in full. So that's that automation. That's the driving of business process as a consequence of payments is of course what integrated payments should be doing for us. So where do we stick this guy? Payments, I think. So there's your payment. And then we do have some tools as well for settlements. Some people care a lot about this, others maybe not as much, but from a settlement perspective, we'll bring down settlement information. So typically a lot of our customers are doing that reconciliation against the cash deposit the next day on the bank. So we add some things like syncing down the batch number. So when they get their gateway PayTrace settlement report, they can actually sort by that on the make deposit screen inside NetSuite. So this actually does get quite a bit of attraction from your controllers and CFOs and owners, because all about that cash. But on the deposit screen here, this is just a NetSuite screen. We give you a couple extra fields here, and this is usually the fan favorite. It's the settlement batch. So basically, I'm doing this every morning, as the treasury or cash or receivables person at the company. I get in, I get the email from the gateway, hey, batch 45 batched out. I go into NetSuite while everybody was sleeping. Our scripts went and asked PayTrace, hey, did anything settle out? If so, give me all the settlement info. We write it to the NetSuite system. That way you have it here. You key in 45, and then hopefully on your deposit and in your batch report from the gateway, you see, in this case, I guess 3 transactions, one at 450, 225, and 621. So, against these accounts, or there's your transaction ID from the gateway. So we've had people tell us that can get their reconciliation down a couple minutes. We also have a feature. Not as many people are opting into it as we thought, because they like for this to be a little bit of a manual check. We'll actually create this record in full overnight too, the actual deposit from undeposited funds to the cash account. That's actually our newest feature. But again, we give you the decision, because some people, it's an internal controls thing. I need to have to actually do it. It's a stronger check than perhaps a systemization. So we've got options. Okay, well, other than that, we've got some other features, and typically these are things we get into on specific calls if folks are interested in it for, card present and auto pay and those types of things. But these are kind of the major highlights with the payment links, with our approach for implementing it, and of course support for running cards and running ACH inside NetSuite itself are really the core of our platform.
So, Adam, if I was to summarize, right, a lot of really good information here for our NetSuite people that are on this call. I think the real benefits to this is that, one, you're saving a lot of time on all of your financial processes, right, by operating in this solution. 2, there's great opportunity to actually save dollars and cents on those spreadsheets, right, with the actual payment processing side. And you've mentioned a few times, right, there's a few different payment solutions out there that are supported within NetSuite. Pretty good parity across. You showed some really great ones that NewGen supports and have customized in here. But I think one of the things that sets NewGen PayTrace apart from a lot of the other solutions out there is just the people aspect, right? When you're working with NewGen, you're working with yourself, your colleagues, who are, right, really great people, really knowledgeable and excellent support. When you work with PayTrace, similarly, you're working with people that are based in the US that are extremely responsive, that if there are questions, if there's issues, if you need support, you're not difficult to get a hold of, is essentially it.
100%. And I know you think this too, but when we talk about payments, I mean, this is cash. This is the lifeblood of business. We take it seriously. We know that, this isn't something that can wait till tomorrow. Lucky for us and kind of all these systems, and we've spoken to it a bit, and hey, nothing failed here. So that's another good example. This is so already set up that we have that reliably regardless. But yes, we do take pride in how we are also onshore. It is in our intention to provide better customer service than our competitors, and it is quite easy, to be frank. And for us too, that sometimes wins us, the overall sort of NetSuite support business too. So we have a bit of a selfish driver in that regard that sort of benefits everybody. But yes, that's kind of a key tenet, is the people. The level 2, level 3 optimization of rates is probably your second, and then your third for sort of the triangle is the product. And again, I don't necessarily want to sit, and maybe it doesn't mean much for me to say, oh, our solution is better than our competitors, but we leave our prospects, our customers, to sort of decide that for us, of course. But anyone that sort of knows some of the other incumbent solutions out there knows the types of features and bells and whistles that they provide. And we do challenge people to make sure that statement's true. A lot of our features, at least at this point, they do set us apart, and we intend to sort of make sure that technically we are providing the best NetSuite AR automation tools on the market. That is our chief most responsibility as a NetSuite suite apps provider.
I'll speak to it too. Again, I'm on the PayTrace side, so take it with a grain of salt. But we see little to no attrition or churn on clients that you have set up. Your case studies where you talked about your taxidermy merchant, I think that was one of our original accounts that we set up together.
Yeah.
Right. And they've been chugging along for years, and it's been a phenomenal fit. So I think that's indicative of just, people are happy with it, right? It works really well, it fits their needs, and it's making them better. So
you called me out that I basically didn't update my case studies. So you let everybody know. I know there's probably more, but yes, yeah, they've been around for a while, which again, I agree. It's sort of a testament.
I will say, just I know that we're wrapping up here, but when it comes to case studies, I really like the fact that you use these two in particular, because when I think of ERPs, my mind goes to, just suppliers, wholesalers, more of your, big industry types of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, right, when you don't think of taxidermists and florists as fitting that mold, but it really is, kind of that NetSuite ecosystem, is that it does fit all of these different mid-market types of businesses. Whatever they do, they still need the financials and everything that an ERP manages for them. So it really does fit, or I guess breaks that mold of just your industry types of businesses.
100%. I mean, and I would argue that NetSuite and our integration specifically, it really does favor the B2B, and so does PayTrace. When I am creating invoices and taking deposits on sales orders and, issuing monthly statements to my account with open balances, and that's where I would perhaps take along typically that statement pay now hyperlink to the statement portal, essentially. It is a turnkey, it is a natural fit for that. But yeah, I mean, with the floral shop, I mean, I think it's B2B, that it's local businesses with large orders. I think that's kind of why they run on NetSuite. But they're mostly taking payment in sort of a more B2C type of environment. I don't think it's essentially people off the street. It's like will call pickup. But they are using NetSuite. We didn't really look at it, but we certainly can on if it fits folks' businesses on our demos. But they'll use the NetSuite cash sale as a single record where they, in a lowish traffic point of sale environment, that can kind of get someone in and out in 30, 45 seconds. But they use NetSuite on a cash sale, key in the items, maybe take down the phone number of the customer, something like that on the record. You have a NetSuite workflow, fill in as much as you possibly can so you can move pretty quick. Tab over to the payment screen, dip the credit card, wait for it to beep, the EMV dipper, pull it out, and save, and that will do everything for a NetSuite user. It'll hit revenue, it'll relieve inventory, it will hit cost of goods if you've got inventory items on there. It's going to hit your gateway, make sure the money is good. So and again, without that, or with a type of situation like that, the point of sale ones are kind of my favorite sometimes, because we have competed against the Shopify POS, the Lightspeed, where they were thinking that they had to have something like that, just because, well, people are bringing me cards in person. I have physical cards, like I have to have this, right? And NetSuite doesn't have anything like that. Well, they do have a product, but it doesn't always get the best reviews. But and sometimes people have already considered that, maybe been priced out, but they sort of get that stuff for quote unquote free with that feature in our gateway. And I mean, I always like when people hit a bunch of birds with a single stone. And we have so many cases of, we're coming for processing, but again, we're solving these NetSuite issues. We're simplifying the environment. We're optimizing. Even before we had PayGen, that's what we got into this business to do, is to look at and respond to and solve NetSuite issues. If we're doing that, we know we're doing our jobs.
I love it. You guys provide a big stone for all those birds. So
we try.
That's great. Well, you've got your slide up here. I'm actually going to grab the screen here because I'm selfish and I want to put our contact as well.
I left you off, sorry.
If we don't have any questions right now, I'm going to take this moment and thank our presenter, Adam. Like always, I love having these calls with you. You know your thing in and out. You're very polished. So great job today. Thank you for the presentation.
Of course. Thanks as always for having us, the partnership, and yeah, it's always fun kind of presenting this out and all of that. So thank you so much. And thank you to everybody listening in. Hope to hear from some of you and try to solve some NetSuite payments issues.
Absolutely. All right, team. At this time, we're going to close out this webinar. Like Adam said, thanks to all of you for hanging out with us for the last little bit. This will be on our YouTube channel here shortly if you'd like to review this for whatever reason. Also, feel free, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of other really great content on there to address a lot of your payments needs. So take care and have a great rest of your week.